A very warm welcome to everybody who has just joined in. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Kirti Trehan, the ICT coordinator from India. I'm also an Apple Distinguished Educator for the year 2023. Before any further delay, let's get deep dive into the session. So let's get our session started, which is on outdoor learning in primary years program. I'm going to quickly take you through the flow of the today's session so that it's easier for you to relate as in which parts are more exciting for you. So we're going to start with what is outdoor learning in primary years program. Moving on further, I'm going to also take you through the steps. How can we plan our outdoor learning engagements in our regular classrooms? Further, I'm going to give you live examples. I'm going to give you some tangible work samples from my students who have successfully implemented outdoor learning in their regular engagements. So, before we deep dive into it, let's quickly get started in our today's session. Now, moving to the very, very basic part, what is outdoor learning? You know, when we talk about these two terms, it's very, very simple, outdoor and learning. But when, as educators, me as an educator, when we think about implementing it, so outdoor learning is nothing but engaging with our regular environment. So it is stepping out of the classrooms and get related with how does our external environment look like? How can learning and engaging and engaging with the curriculum be more enjoyable? So that the best classroom and the richest cupboard is roofed only by the sky. I don't even need to go into too much of detail about this particular statement, but when these young learners they step out of their regular classrooms and when they get an environment related, that is something which excites them. So let's now move further to some outdoor learning curriculum. So let's on now move further to the next part. How does outdoor learning benefit us? So some of the benefits of outdoor learning is stepping into an external environment. We are all familiar with how do we get water, how do we get sunlight. But when these young learners they step out, then they see that okay, how does our external environment related? That is what helps them learn in a better way. It is scientifically proven that it helps in better retention and improved learning results. It shapes a child's cognitive abilities and their logical and thinking skills as well. As an IB school, I'm sure so many of you would be aware that we work on these learner profile attributes. So, with the help of outdoor learning, our students become inquirers, risk takers, and communicators. Above all, when we as educators we go into our classrooms, what is our basic motive? Our basic motive in today's time is to make this entire process of learning and teaching more enjoyable, more fruitful and fun so that our children come back happy from their school. Let's now move further to some outdoor learning curriculum. So you all must be aware, be it a CBSE platform, be it an IB platform, that every subject has a scope and sequence, or you call it a mind map for a particular subject. So we look at the scope and sequence of the subject and then plan our engagement. The second point I'm going to talk much in detail about is sharing the plan with the students, talking about the learning outcomes. You know, as educators, sometimes we feel that the children will not understand. But I'm telling you, trust me on this, children are so intelligent. And when we throw the ball in their court, when we empower them, when we bring them at par with the designing process, it's then when they feel empowered that yes, we are part of designing the curriculum. So share the plan, share the learning outcomes, and also talk about the skills, that what skill do we cater to in this learning engagement. I'm telling you, this has worked superbly well with me when I have shared my plan with my students, and they have felt like, wow, we are part of the process. So that is something which excites a student. Talking about the last part, you know, as adults, talking about, yes, apart from being adults, as educators, we feel that, you know, for a 5-year old or a 6-year old, writing a name is something, you know, very, very difficult. which is very basic. But for a child, how to write a name, take a picture, hang it around the wall, share it with the class. That is something which empowers the child. So celebrate everything, whatever you can, in any little way. It could be a picture which helps a child, get engaged and be confident about what are we presenting in the class. Let's move on to the next part, which is, I'm sure you all must be looking forward to, that how do we do, what are some things which we have to learn. And so that is what the rest of my session would be all about, that what are these tools and techniques. Before I deep dive into it, I'm sure each one of us who's an educator here has been acquainted with a sea of tools and techniques before, during this COVID era. The whole world went to an online mode. It was a plethora of tools which were open to everybody, and every teacher has gained something or the other. But there is a negative side to it, that with so many tools, which ones to pick, which will help me, engage my students in a better way, which will take their learning graph from here to there. So I'm going to take you through some workable examples and some live tools which are available free of cost, and you can use them in your classrooms. Beginning with a simplest one. Before I tell you more about the tools, when we talk about outdoor learning, which is of course stepping out of your regular classroom setup, technology is such a handy tool. And when when we're talking about moving out, so if we have technology in our hand, then the learning becomes on the go. So the examples we have is handheld device, right? So this is a very simple example for a nursery children who are just learning about writing numbers, tracing the letter sounds. So instead of giving them a pen and a paper, or a pencil and a paper to write letter S, letter A, letter B, letter C, why not do something different? So what we did in our classroom was, we stepped out using the handheld device in our hand. We stepped out and we asked them to click grass. And I'm sure each one of us is capable of clicking a good picture. And in fact, that is also a skill, how to hold a device, right? You step out in the garden, or in the ground, in the field, click grass. What is the beginning sound? G. You use the markup tool of the camera app, trace letter sound G. As simple as that. You go click a flower, for example. Click a flower. What does it begin with? F. Or click the balls which are there in your playground. Click and be reshare by technology. So this is one example, and this is just a nursery example. As we move above in upper primary, or probably grades 4 and 5, you take a picture and you have tools which helps you type. So you take a picture, you talk about it, you write about it. The skills which I focused for this particular engagement was the thinking skills, the cognitive skills, and the tech skills. Moving on further, this is a mind mapping app which is called Poplet. Now, Poplet helps us make a mind map. Anybody of you, or from all the viewers who would have heard, it's a mind mapping tool. When we think of making a mind map, what comes to our mind is joining few pieces together, making a mind map. But a simple tool as simple as Poplet can be used for a beautiful learning engagement. So when the students are learning how to count, how to write numbers, this app comes very, very handy. So, again, instead of being in the classroom, go out, count the number of, let's say, windows, count the number of doors in the corridor, click a picture of that, and there is an option of writing. So when you go on Poplet app, you get a option of clicking a picture, you get an option of writing something, also you get an option to draw. So one app can be used all across primary, lower primary, as well as upper primary. Take a picture, count the number of, let's say, the windows, count the number of doors, count the number of railings, anything. Learning is not limited to pen and paper, learning is not limited to classroom, learning is not limited to blackboard and a chalk. No, with technology being so advanced, why don't we give that experience to our children who come back happy talking about their learning to their parents, that wow, we did this, you know and this is something which even a child who is not very good into writing, who is not interested in writing, trust me, they have worked wonders in my lessons. And when their parents come and meet me, they're like full of such rich experiences. So this is what technology gives and empowers a child with. Another example of Poplet, so we have unit on materials, we have unit on plants. So how mind mapping works in that, so you, when you're learning about, let's say, different kind of materials, be it wood, be it metal, be it rubber, so take the device and ask them, leave them, empower them, foster agency in your classroom. So leave them in the corridor and ask them to go find different materials, and I'm telling you, you will be amazed to see the kind of result which comes to you. They will click glass, they will click metal, they will click door handles, and if they cannot write, they just press the mic button and they start recording. This is a word, this is rubber, this is used in particular classroom, and an entire engagement or a kind of assessment is done right away. This has successfully worked with nursery, with kindergarten, with grade 1. Moving on further, a very simple app but very effective app. So this is Chatterpix. Chatterpix helps us to click a picture and make it talk. So we were doing this unit on living beings and non-living beings, and the children were super excited to use this. So we went out in the corridor and I asked the children to click anything which they saw, all right, and they have to make it talk. So most of them went to, let's say, a door or a window. They clicked the window and they made a mouth of the window. That's how Chatterpix helps us. So you click a window or a door, you draw a mouth, and then you make it talk. The same engagement, let's say we come back to the classroom and we tell, draw a line, write what are the characteristics of a living being, write what are the characteristics of a non-living being. You compare these two activities and you see the result. This is my challenge, that children who have not been able to show that kind of a progress, they have done remarkably well with the use of technology. So they went out, they drew mouth, they talked about some of the properties which were not even told in their classroom. A similar engagement on materials. So this example which you see on my screen is a kindergarten activity. So the child went around, looked for some soft toys. He clicked a picture, he drew a mouth of the picture, and then he spoke in his own voice that this is a soft toy. The material is cotton, and it's a non-living thing. It has got eyes, but it cannot see. So these are the kind of provocations which children get on their own, and it works amazingly well, not only for their regular phonics or letter sounds, but it works the other way as well, for fostering coordination amongst their fingers and their eyesight, because you have to talk looking at the camera. So it helps you build on your tech skills, it helps you become good orators, it helps you sharpen your communication skills, and of course it builds on your thinking skills as well. So one app could be as simple for a nursery, and it could be as detailed for even a 5 or a grade 6 child. Let's move on to the next example, which is augmented reality. So augmented reality, I'm sure all the viewers right here, you must have heard of this term augmented reality, and it sounds very fancy, it is very fancy indeed. But when it comes to actual usage, there are so many, and the one which I have showed you on my screen is a basic example of augmented reality, and my kids were amazed to see it. So this is called 3D bear. It is available freely on any handheld device. So we were doing this unit on imagination. So, in the unit of imagination, they were supposed to bring to life anything which they can imagine. And as you can see on my screen, The children brought a dinosaur to the corridor. They brought this animal on the ground. Then they brought a big spider on the ground, and they were unstoppable. I had to force them to go back to the classroom, but they weren't. So you could build a classroom setup in a ground. They get so excited when they don't have to do that regular learning within the classroom. So this has come really well. Another example of augmented reality. So this is a very simple app. You go on this app, you find a lot of animals, you find monuments, you find vegetables, you find fruits. So another example for using augmented reality is, another grade was learning about healthy choices. So they picked up healthy vegetables, they picked up healthy fruits, and then they made them stand on somebody's head, and then they recorded them so that why it is healthy. Also, the negative aspects of a particular, let's say, a junk food, they put an ice cream, and then they talked about that so and so likes ice cream, but their teeth will spoil, they will their stomach will start aching. So these kind of answers, when you get from a 5-year old or a 6-year old, is when you feel that you're doing a good job. So augmented reality, to begin with, all the viewers right here, go on this very simple app called 3D Bear and explore the free version. I'm sure you will love it as much as I do. Let's move on to the next example, which is not only clicking and not only talking about it, but when technology is in our hand, it can do wonders to your communication, it can do wonders to your writing skills, which is the need of the hour in today's time. Gone are the days when we only had a paper and a pencil to write. Why? We have technology, so why not make efficient use of it? So there is this app which is called Write About This. And when children grow up, when they go in grade 2s and 3s, they're hesitant, not hesitant, rather they're too bored of writing, because of course the writing work increases. But yes, then again, break the monotony. Go out in the park, go out, sit in your atrium of your school, okay, and ask them to write about anything what they see. So this app gives you a window to click and put anything. You can also put your own picture, and then it gives you a small paper. So these grade 2s and 3s, who have learned how to write, and they are forming their sentences, their punctuation, their grammar. So this app comes really handy, that you click whatever you see around you. Let's say this is a picture of a park. So you write about what you see in the picture. Apart from that, you can also take pictures, pre-fed pictures, and then you can ask a child to write about that picture. You can give them prompts that, what do you see in the picture, who all are the people who are there in the pictures. If you talk about, let's say, grade 1, who are not too good at writing, but then what colors do you see, what kind of swings do you see? So it all depends on the kind of prompts you are giving to your children. So this app comes really handy. They learn how to write, they get their sentences in correct formations, they put a full stop towards the end, as you can see in the picture. And also it helps you build on your grammar and the keyboarding skills, because it is not only typing with one finger. No, you have to type with both your hands, so that there's this finger exercises which we do before we begin the lesson. So these kind of tools, children look forward to attending my sessions, that we're going to go out and we're going to have fun. So here, along with having fun, we are making this entire process of learning and teaching so fun, so much enjoyable, that they go back home happy. Moving on further, there is this very simple tool of movie making, which is called iMovie. I'm sure people who have worked with Apple devices must be aware. And I have had interactions with a lot of educators outside beyond my school, that no, this is for older children who know. But trust me, this app works amazingly well for your entire primary years program. As simple as taking pictures, putting the pictures together, and making a movie. So, we were doing this unit on simple machines when the kids were learning about making what are simple machines. So, beginning with 6 simple types of lever, or a seesaw, then we went on to kind of examples, gears, right? How work? How does a lever work? Or what is a fulcrum? They went around, they clicked pictures on their own, and it is as simple as putting those pictures together, and tada, the movie is ready. And along with just having a movie without a sound, without the child's voice, was so simple, but they were not. They were unstoppable, because when you give technology in a child's hand, they don't stop till the point where you ask them. They are always wanting to learn more. So when the sound was not coming and they were getting fidgety, that sound is not coming, what else should we do? So you have to make your lessons as engaging. Do not let out everything open to the children. Let them explore. That's the key to success for my classrooms, that I don't tell them everything. I just tell them the basic layout, that this is how my lesson would look like. This is something which I want you to learn today, and then figure out. There would be few who would be very quick. There would be few who would need a bit of push. So you have to plan your lessons accordingly, seeing what kind of age group you are getting, what kind of children you are getting. So give them a push, give them a little provocation. So they were doing this, learning about simple machines. So we went out, we went to our park, and we clicked pictures, and then they said that, ma'am, why don't we put our own voices? I said, let's go ahead, record our voices. So before the unit got completed, they could also talk about what is a simple machine, what are the parts of simple machines which are used in this picture, and how is it used at my home. So just one simple engagement involving so many things at one time. You are building thinkers. You are empowering the children to learn the organizing skills. You are empowering the children how to communicate. And that's what the need of the hour in today's generation. So is catered using these very simple tools to foster learning in my classrooms. I'm gonna now just talk very briefly about, and then I'm gonna go to question and answer part if you have questions, which I can see there are. So I'm gonna just let you just give you a very brief overview of what are the outcomes, and these are something which I have seen over the years. It's been my 13th year in teaching, and I have seen the graph of my students just going up higher and higher. So when you bring outdoor learning in your regular classroom, it helps a child become more creative. The creativity just goes beyond your expectations. It improves social health. Nowadays, students have these social and mental issues, gelling well. So when you do these kind of engagements, when you are not confined to the four boundaries, and these these are not only for educators, these are even for family members, where you can everybody has a handheld device at home. So why to give a device only for watching videos? Why to give a device only to play games? Why not go a step beyond? If a handheld device is there in a child's hand, use it in a better way. You make your learning graph go up. Make your learning graph go up. Give them playtime, but then along with that, if learning can happen simultaneously, I think it's a win-win situation for each one of us. So of course helps in improving their social health, mental health, because a child can actually see that something which is going around me, and I'm learning about it, and it's related. So it is not like it's written in my book that I have to learn it. No, they see it in front of their eyes, so they learn it in a better way. And of course the learning graph goes higher. The children perform better. The last part of it is they become critical thinkers. They think out of the box. They can also talk about, oh ma'am, there is something which I see in my friend's work, why not I do that? They think out of the box. So that is something which technology has empowered our children, and they have become better thinkers. So this is what all I had to share with you all. I'm gonna now move to the chat box for your question and answers. You can put in your questions in the chat box, and I can see people talking about the apps. So yes, the apps which I have put in my presentations are all free apps which you can easily find. I had also put my the name of the app. So later on as well, the link would be there on YouTube. You can very well have a look. You can contact me later as to the way I have used it, or any other examples which I have put in. There are 1 minute. So yeah, so there is a question about how do we use a mind map. So yes, so mind map is something where you put your thoughts together on one page, and you can see the learning happening at one particular place. So as I just talked about, making a mind map of numbers, so you can also make a mind map of, let's say, when you're learning about plants, right? So you go out and you click pictures of, let's say, part of the plant, probably a flower or a stem or a root, or sand, whatever, and then put them together. It makes the mind map. All right. And about Chatterpix. Yes, very well indeed. Chatterpix is a free app. You can use Chatterpix on any handheld device. You can make your learning engagements very enjoyable if you use this. Um, Miss Ragini, the apps which I have referred in my session are all for prime, are all for. Acha, you're talking about pre-primary. So for pre-primary, go for this simple camera markup tool, right? Anything, it is very well freely available. So on an iPad, you click a picture and you just go on the markup tool. So that app really helps for pre-primary students as well. It gives you a pen tool to trace the letter sounds, to write numbers, to draw something which comes to their mind. In fact, a very using this markup tool even while meditating. So they were having a meditation session in the classroom, and they were asked to write. The kids were asked to draw whatever comes to their mind. And this, I'm talking of a few years back. It was an eye opener for a 6-year old to draw something when they were meditating. That meditation music was on and technology was given in their hands. The kind of things which they drew were remarkable. So you could use markup, you could use Poplet, you could use Chatterpix, you could also use the simple tool called QR code scanner. It's right available on top of the iPad if you scroll it down, and you give them links, freely available tools. And of course, if people require those free links, you can contact me. I have a pool of resources all for English, Hindi, math. Hindi, I have few. Your UI, your language. So I have a plethora of resources. You can contact me, and they are all available free of cost. Um, there is Miss Sandhya. Yeah, so we have, yes, movie making can be easily done by a grade 2 child. It is very easy. It just looks difficult, but it is as simple as making a series of pictures to complete a movie. Yes, so it is absolutely there. Um, uh, for the art teachers, yes, so we have for the art teachers, there's this question which I can see. So for the art teachers, we have apps called stop motion animation if you talk about a grade 4 or a 5 child. So these are very simple app. It's a free app called stop motion animation, where you click pictures in succession of something what you're drawing, and then you play it all together. So it looks like a complete art form which you have catered to. Another example, of movie making. Yes, so movie making, another way of using movie making in your art classroom is, when you're teaching a child about how to use fonts. What are different kind of fonts? So always showing a brush. So it's just the way how you use technology in any lesson for that matter. So when it comes to art, the art teachers work a lot on the font. So the same font can be shown on a handheld device using free app like Pages, using free app like Keynote. Show them how does it look digitally, and show them how does it look in real, and then ask them to compare and make something, and you will see phenomenal results. I'm too sure about it. um, there is okay, so yes, absolutely. Videos can be made by any age group. There is no limit to video making. Any free app for, yes. So there is this app called Shadow Puppet, which can be used outside in the class, outside the classrooms. You can step out, you can click anything, you can highlight what part of the picture you want to talk about. You can have a pen tool and circle it, star it, make a question mark, and then the entire thing gets converted into a video. Yeah, so that is something. For more information for the usage of the apps which I've talked about, you can definitely put it in the comment box. I will get back with links. I think we are done. If you have any more questions, please put it in the comment box. I will get back to you people as soon as possible, and I hope you all would have gained something or the other for you to carry it back in your classrooms, for all the educators who have joined us. So, thank you so much. I had a great time sharing my experiences. I would definitely want to come back again to share more classroom practices, which I do in my classroom. So, thank you so much. I hope to see you guys again. Thank you. Bye bye.